I'm going to try to make a chessboard on my slab roller. So here's the start. I got some chunks of clay on there and I'm preparing to roll it out. I wonder if I can do that one-handed. Apparently I can't video very well one-handed. Alright, the slab looks a little bit better now, but it's still my canvas. I think I got it wet and then it dried uneven, so it got a little wrinkly. But I'm hoping the other side is flatter, so I'll just consider this the bottom. I need to measure out the square and see how it goes from there. I've made this slab into a square that's 16 inches by 16 inches. So now I guess I'm going to groove the back to help the drying process, and then I'll let it set up for a while, and then I'll try to put the grid on the top side for the chess squares. And I'm going to get to grooving it, let's see, with this tool. Here's Cade, still working on his project. He's got it, he did get it a bit taller. No, don't go faster. So I'm going to find the flat end of this and just, I guess, put grooves. All the way down like that. I think this aids in the drying, and it might help it not warp, and warping is an issue, but if this does warp a little, it won't be the end of the world. I'll be able to still work with it. But I'm going to keep grooving it. Here is the grooved bottom side of the chessboard, and I'll let it dry for a while, and then I'll flip it over carefully. You don't want it to bend when you're flipping it, so I got to get a board or something to slide under it, and then I'll start working on the dividing lines on the top. I notched off, it's a 16-inch square, so I notched off every 2 inches. 2, 4, 6, 8, I think you get the point. And I did that all the way around. And now I'm just going to connect the dots, and I'm going to make lines attaching all those squares, and then I can cut deeper the grooves. And if I cut it deep enough, I guess I could fill it with grout and make it look a little bit better. But that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm going to scratch in all the squares. I'm done scratching in the lines. It's still, of course, really soft clay, so I'm going to let it harden up for a while, and then I'll come back later and I'll cut deeper grooves in there just to really emphasize the different squares, and I'll take it from there. It occurred to me that there's no way this whole thing is going to fit in my kiln. My kiln is 18 inches round, and it's 16 inches by 16 inches, but it's like 22 inches diagonally, and that's not going to work. So I'm going to cut out each individual square, and then I'll just kind of use a mortar or whatever to stick them onto a board. I'll be able to glaze them individually this way. So that's what I'm doing now, is cutting out each individual square. Here's 64 individual tiles. They're still totally wet. I'm going to let them harden up a little bit, and then I'll smooth out the edges, maybe cut them a little bit, and then eventually it'll be time to bisque fire them and glaze them and set them on a board. and see how it goes. And eventually I'll start throwing some chess pieces. Here's the chessboard at the moment. I've skipped a few steps as far as recording goes. Bisque fired them, glaze fired them, and I've used mastic and secured every one of the 64 blocks onto the board. Then I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to cut it out, and I think I'm going to make a table out of this chessboard. Here's the grout that will go in between there eventually. I think once I have the edge around the chess set, I'll go ahead and grout it. I made a table, a little table for the chessboard. I had originally grouted it in white. I don't know if I took a video of that. Didn't much care for it, so I filled it up with black. And here's the table. It's got little drawers for the pieces. I still have more work. I haven't sanded it yet in here. And I'm going to put like a red kind of a sheet thing in there, red fabric. I'm going to bunch it up, and so the pieces can go in there without bouncing around too much. And I have a drawer on the other side. Same story. But I have to sand it up. I mean, it's all dirty here. When it dries, when the grout's all dry, I'll sand it and finish it in some color, or clear actually, probably. And there's the table at this moment.